Okay, on a lighter subject, Paulie, I read, well, I heard a few, it was years ago. How close were you to getting the Floyd Mayweather fight?
I was close a couple of times. When I beat Juan Diaz in Chicago in the rematch in 2009, I remember Lou DiBello, who was promoting me at the time, I remember around Christmas time, was fielding calls from both sides, and neither side knew. What I'm saying, both sides, is Top Rank was calling about the Pacquiao fight, and Al Heyman was calling about the Mayweather fight after I beat Juan Diaz in May 2009 main event. Um, in the end, none of them worked out. In the end, Shane Mosley got the Mayweather fight, and Joshua Clottey got the Pacquiao
fight.
Because I think Top Rank had just signed Joshua Clottey. It was probably better for me not to fight Pacquiao at that time because I think that was the heyday of him doing steroids. I mean, I think that was like the top
The peak of the power. Because I remember when he battled, I was going to say, I won't go into it too much, but I remember when he battled Margarita.
He was a punching machine. He stopped punching. It was like a volcano. The guy could have fought 20 rounds. It was crazy.
He was eating shots from a Margarita.
And taking shots that not only weren't knocking him out, but they weren't even fatiguing him. Because a shot may not knock you out, but it does fatigue you if you take too many of them. You know.
He was clapping in the ring when Margarita, a big strong.
Yeah. So basically, the bottom line was Christmas 2009. We were fielding calls from both sides, and neither side knew that we were actually getting calls from the other side as well. You know, so we were actually fielding calls from both the Mayweather fight and the Pacquiao fight. I had just finished the year on a high, winning the Juan Diaz rematch, and the Juan Diaz rivalry had become a big deal in boxing because we had had 2 fights, so it kind of played a big storyline.
Just tell everyone about what happened in Texas, but we missed that point, and that was a fight I watched.
Kind of always had a controversial way about scoring fights, and of course I had to fight Juan Diaz in Texas because I was always constantly the designated B-side. And Juan was a good fighter. It's actually a win I don't get a lot of credit for, but Juan was actually a unified lightweight world champion.
He's a strong guy, strongest.
The run-of-the-mill boxing fans don't know that because the run-of-the-mill boxing fans didn't hear of Juan Diaz. Juan Diaz was a unified world lightweight champion when knocked off a lot of guys, and was probably looked at as a guy who was going to knock me off too. And in the first fight, I thought I did enough to win the fight, as did most people. But
everybody squared. Max Kellerman.
Yeah, they ended up edging Juan in the fight. So I kind of went crazy in the post-fight interview. It's an interview that I've kind of become known for. And I ended up getting a rematch later in the year in Chicago. And in the end of the year in Chicago, in a more neutral city, I ended up beating him. So I was coming off of basically what was supposed to be back-to-back wins over a former lightweight unified champion. So I was running on a pretty good high at that moment, you know. So that's why we were starting to field calls from the Pacquiao camp and the Mayweather camp, you know. Listen, things work out sometimes, and sometimes they don't work out. I don't look back at it with any kind of bitterness. You know, I had an up and down career, and I had a lot of experiences. And it would have been nice to get to one of those fights, but nonetheless, I do think that maybe things happen differently if I get one of those fights at that moment. At that moment, maybe it was the time for me. You know, and so I can only look back on my career now and say, I came out in one piece. I came out good, and so that's all I can be happy for. I'm financially okay. I don't have Mayweather or Pacquiao money, but at the same time, I also, like I said, I'm okay in this pandemic. I'm not worried. I'm good. I have enough money saved, and I live a good life. And more importantly, I'm healthy. And that's what really where the blessing comes in.
That's why I think it's important. As I say, it's important people like you stay in boxing because you can give a good advice to fighters. That's why I said during when Guido turned pro, I said I wanted you to almost come on board because about it's almost common sense, but like in boxing, this is my main thing with boxing. This is why this is my opinion. It's world titles is what everybody's in boxing for, but as I say, like the world titles won't pay your mortgage forever. They won't make. It's about getting in, making money, creating a legacy, and getting out healthy. That's the main point. That's the main point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting in and getting out is the main point in any kind of combat, really. I think I think when you get older, though, it becomes more important to you. I think when you're young, you're willing to go through everybody. You're willing to go through everybody and in order to achieve your goals. But when you're older, you begin to realize, man, this is very dangerous. You don't think about the dangers when you're young. It's kind of it's kind of a funny situation, you know. You don't think about that, but then when you get older, you do. I'm seeing these Conor McGregor fans still on these comments. Listen, I whooped your guy's ass. You understand me, guys? I beat the fuck out of your bum ass fighter. He didn't see the video for any reason. I don't have to see the video. Despite it, the laugh is on you because he didn't release the video. The laugh is on you. Bum ass fans. He's a bum ass fighter. Gets his ass kicked by everybody. They gotta find him. Should go get a win a couple months ago. He's a fucking bum. Remember, and he's gonna keep getting his ass kicked again. Remember that. He's gonna stay getting his ass kicked because that's what frauds do. They stay getting their ass kicked. Remember that. He's a bum. I have consistency on my side. I won 2 world titles. Consistency on my side. I was in a prime of boxing for 10 years. I fought among the best in the world in boxing for 10 years. You remember that. This guy was a flash in the pan because he fooled all of you. You're a bunch of bum fans who cheer on a bum fighter. Remember that. Yeah. Remember that. You're never going to see the video because he got his ass kicked in the video. Nobody got embarrassed except him. You understand me? That's why he did what he did and put up together a highlight for you guys because he knew you'd be stupid enough to buy into it. You're talking about a bum MMA fighter, not just a bum fighter, a bum MMA fighter. He's not even among the best in MMA. He just talks like he is. He's like a wrestling character.
Paulie has said earlier in this video that he's 39 years old. He will never box or come back in any combat sport over 40 years old. Make the fight happen. This will be the best press conference you've ever seen.
Because now they have the COVID going on, so now they're really up against the clock. You know?
Yeah, they're really up against. When are you 40, Paulie?
I'll be 40 on November 23rd.
Oh, we've got plenty of time. This virus fucks right off. We've got plenty of time to make this flipping press conference. I'm going to promote it, and it's going to be the biggest fight ever. Oh, no, great stuff. No, look, Paul, I don't want to keep you too long, but, like, it's always great, like, talking to you, but obviously keeping it.
It ain't like I was going anywhere right now. You know, it ain't like anybody's going anywhere right now. So,
I thought when I asked you to do this with me, I thought you can't say no because what the fuck else is there to do?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all fun. And you know what? I talked about the haters. Big shout out to all the fans. I see a lot of positive comments on there too. Big shout out to you guys, man. You guys are great.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that support you, Paulie. But on a personal note, I was always a fan of him. Just say this. You know this from years ago when I met you before. I've always been a big fan of yours, and that you've had a great career. And as I say, best analyst in boxing for me personally. Always says it how it is, and look, we'll catch up soon when this virus is gone. If not, but like,
I still feel I won the bare-knuckle fight. You break your hand.
Oh,
you know how it is. You
say
you know this better than me, Sam. You break your hand, you cannot get into exchanges because a one-handed fighter cannot exchange with a two-handed fighter.
So maybe a boxing match.
Maybe I was planning to be a bit more aggressive until I broke my hand. I probably was. And you see the first 2 rounds, I was a bit more aggressive. But once I broke my hand, I had to kind of adjust the game plan and kind of pick him off. You know, so how do you pick a guy off? You kind of lead him in and pick him off. Lead him in and pick him off, you know?
He put you in one headlock. I watched the fight. He put you in one headlock, hit you once.
Yeah. That's it. That was all he did. Even the stumbles that I had, I tripped over his foot. He's a southpaw, so his lead foot is in the way. A couple of times I tripped over his lead foot as I was getting out of the way. And I think maybe that was the judges wanting me to lose the fight, so they just figured out an excuse to just give him rounds.
They didn't want a big mouth boxer. They didn't want a big mouth boxer to beat that. To beat that. They didn't. There was the hillbillies. It's a hillbilly thing.
What gets lost in that? Forget about the decision. What gets lost in that is you realize the stupidity of MMA fans. You really realize that fight in itself proves the stupidity of MMA fans, and I'll tell you why. Because all they're looking for is an exchange. They're looking for a war. They cannot. Once I broke my hand and I had to fight in a real technical way, they wound up not being able to understand what was happening. They
turned into a boxing match.
It's like you bring in a retard and you teach him algebra. He's not gonna know what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. So, like, basically that's what it became. You know, like, my level of the way I was fighting was so high level, but I was doing it in front of retards. So they didn't know what they were watching anymore because they were waiting for an exchange, and I wasn't giving them an exchange. So all of a sudden, it became a problem. They were like, oh, he's running. He's not doing anything. They couldn't figure out that I was actually winning the fight in an intelligent way with one hand. So, you know, it was I don't think it was a shame because we shouldn't make fun of people that are not as intelligent as us, but nonetheless, I do think it got lost in the whole translation. Because then the problem was too, nobody in boxing covered the fight. So all their websites covered the fight. So they all took the chance to shit on me because again, you know, it's a retarded fan base, so we're a retarded media section too. So it kind of was all together. It was like a cult following, but
yeah,
unfortunately, it was I'll tell you what though, the experience itself was not bad. I'll tell you that, Sam. One thing I'll tell you that is it paid well. But besides that, dude, you know, a 5-round fight for 2 minutes each round, it's not bad at all. Do you understand that after this, I was saying, man, I was like, I would do this again. I would do this again. You know, I would actually like do this again if I had hands. Like
if you got the nod, Paulie, which is what again, if everybody wants to fight, I'm not.
I don't know now because I look back at the damage my hands had because my hands had more damage than I initially thought. You know what I'm saying? So
your hand was still in the clasp. Do you remember, Paulie, when we saw each other in Manchester in Altrincham after the Ultimate Fight? Because I had Florian Mark on the card and we was going there. Was eating kebabs and pizzas and shit. Your hand, I was like, Paulie, the fight was ages ago. Your hand's still in a fucking cast.
Yeah, because it was 6 weeks. Yeah, you have to stay in the cast for 6 weeks. You know, so the cast it sucks. I tell you, it sucks to be in a cast in the summer because it's so hot too. But yeah, so the cast I had to stay in it for 6 weeks. But in reality, you know, I wasn't even sore the day after the fight. It was not a physical fight. It was not a difficult fight. And I was able to kind of control the pace of it. So it was like a breeze. The 10 minutes breeze right by, you know, and I was like, wow, I'm getting paid more than I got paid for a lot of boxing matches.
Yeah.
For this 10-minute breeze, you know, so yeah, okay, so I came up short of the decision in a fight that I probably won, and that probably had to do more with politics than anything else. And of course, me breaking my hand, I was not able to be as aggressive. But you know, you credit the opponent. Artem fought very hard. He went at it, and you know, he can't. You know, Artem's gonna always fight you with all heart. He's not the technical guy. So Artem came and he fought with as much heart as he could, and so he gets credit for that. And he tried to make it a fight out of it. Do I think he was able to make more of a fight out of it because I was one-handed? Absolutely. Because in the end, I had to fight him more technically, which was something that fighting in front of a bunch of retards they weren't going to understand, and myself, honestly, I couldn't get the most out of myself either. But nonetheless, I would say this: if I had better hands, I could probably do that. You know, until I was 40. Until, like I said, after I'm 40, I don't want to fight at all anymore. But I would have probably done maybe 2-3 more of those fights because 10 minutes breezes by. It's crazy. It's amazing.
2 minute rounds. 2 minute rounds.
You can make that much money in 10 minutes. It was crazy. It was crazy. I couldn't believe that the fight was over and I wasn't even breathing heavy. It was crazy.
Nah, crazy stuff. But look, Paul, I'm keeping you long. But like, thanks for coming on. We speak. I always have the best conversations with you. And thanks for your support. I know you give me personal support as well. And like, not many people do that. A lot of people think I'm just a big.
I see you on the graft all the time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you got all the fighters. You're always around. I see what you're doing, man. I respect that. I love guys that are go-getters, people that are go-getters and motivated, and especially when they're passionate about what they're doing. But that's really what makes you a go-getter and successful is when you're passionate about what you do. And I always say that, and I always remind people of that. Anything you do, you have to do it with passion. And for me, I love to see that. You know, I'm a little older, and you know, my time for passionately fighting is done. But I love to see guys on the graft and working hard for their passion as well.
Thank you very much, Paulie. I appreciate that. On that note, listen, we'll leave it there. But Paulie, thank you very much for. Oh yeah, listen, and be careful of the Jessicas of the world. Watch for the condom pokers.
Yeah, yo, I'm losing you on my volume. Hold on. You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'll catch you later, man. All right?
Take care, Paulie.
All right, bro.
Take care, bro. See you in a bit.